Alright, I'm back, and welcome to week 2 of the Joltville series. So starting out, there is no level increase, but most likely expect this in patch 3.3. But first, we want to go ahead and take a look at our casual tab, starting with Artificial Island. So if it's past 12 o'clock, you want to make sure that you check around here to see if you have an old man icon. If you do, you want to make sure that you check your island, so that way you can get some free resources. If not, then try to check your friends, your crews, or people out in the world, as long as they allow you access to the island. And if you want more information on this, check out this video. But you want to make sure that you go ahead and hit this present icon so that way you collect your resources, because you can only hold these for 24 hours. And we do want to go into our artificial island at least once a week. Once inside, you want to hit this triangular icon, and you want to go to your exchange store, and you want to make sure that you buy your weekly items before the week resets. And you want to make sure that you go around and kill your enemies, at least your bosses, before they reset on Monday. But we do have another addition to Artificial Island, and that is this animal pin, to where we can capture animals. Next, we have fishing, and ideally you want to try to get your fishing level to 9. That way you can buy the weekly standard major seat, but if you're just starting out with fishing, I recommend that you get 100 to 150 green bait, so that way you can buy purple bait with the rest of your available bait for the week, until you have time to fish. And for the achievement hunters, there are new fish for this patch, as you can see with the purple bait. Bringing us to Ronnie the Resource Dealer. But you want to make sure that you try to buy his items before the week resets, especially for my vote mains, to where they want to try to get these mini pelican shards. And it's still good to get your energy and your potent omnium crystal from him as well. And next we have appointed research, to where you want to make sure that you're checking this at least every couple days, because you can only hold a grand total of 20 energy, so that way you keep getting your 5 free energy a day. Bringing us to racing, to where now we can go ahead and teleport right to where we need to race. But this is optional content, but if you're able to race and get in the top 100, you can get 400 Mira at the end of the month, which could be pretty helpful if you need to clear out some Mira machines. And our last section is Trap, but I discussed how that fully works in this video. Next, you want to do your Mia's Kitchen, and you want to knock out your 4 bounties for the day. And you could consider saving your keys if you unlock most of the towers in Joltville. Which brings us to Vitality, starting with joint operations. So you want to make sure that you do at least 1 joint operation, so that way you can get your daily first clear reward. You also want to get in the habit of checking out this instant affix, so that way you can see when you can get Papuela or Silka shards. And this week, we get it on Saturday. Bringing us to Interstellar Exploration, to where you want to check Vera as well as check Aspera. And with this patch, we're now able to tell what stars are the stargates by looking at the stars above the stargates. So ideally, you're trying to look for 3 or 2 stargates. If you don't have any 3 or 2 stars, you can always do dimensional trials and simply hit go and then hit quick battle, and you can quickly use up your vitality. And you can do the same for matrix data packs or gold. And then we have our optionals, and that's giving gifts to your 1.0 characters. And how you do that is by going to the black market and talking to Hopkins, Cetus Island and doing the claw machine, are knocking out your 2 trainings for the day. Also, if you haven't cleared out the gray space, you may want to go ahead and do your 6 gray space fishers, but the best rewards are in the Twilight Zone, and you do have an 8-hour time limit, so you could wait on that. And for those that need Mira and training points, it's really good to go ahead and do your 8 fun zones. But one thing you don't want to forget to do every week are your security force missions, so that way you can get those old Vera coins and Mira. Bringing us to our events. So hopefully you logged in enough time, so that way you're able to get all of the supply run. If you decided to roll on Mimi, there's an order gift where you can get some extra rewards. If you want to know how strong she is, be sure to check out my showcase. And for the reruns, here's my quick recommendation. For Fenrir, I recommend that you pass unless you really want to try to do triple vote, but that does take a lot of high investment. Rubilia, she is strong, but you do have other options like Rainbow by using Zeke and Fiona. And Tian, I recommend that you pass, because most likely he is going to be added to the standard banner next patch. And then we have a Gachapon event to where you can get a Mimi Simulacrum, and here's how she looks. But one thing you can try to get is the weapon skin, which will change how Mimi's skills look, to where all of her effects will look greenish yellow. Bringing us to the big event, to where we have the Dragon Code, where you go around and explore, and you're able to get most of the rewards here at the bottom. And the Challengers task list, to where if you just do most of the challenges, you will knock all of these out and get rewards as well. On top of that, you have a store, to where if you just go around and explore the map, you're able to get some pretty nice rewards, which also could help you unlock a few things in the world as well. But our big event is the extended summer, and currently right now we have 2 games that we can play, a Summer Bind and Splatter Bomb. So Splatter Bomb is similar to Hot Potato. You're trying to avoid being hit by the Splatter Bomb. Two people randomly get the Splatter Bomb and they're trying to seek other people to give it to before time runs out and it blows up on their head. Whichever person can last the longest gets the most points. You also get a random special power to help you accomplish this task. Our second choice would be a Summer Bind, to where you can go in with your friend and you try to get the most points by killing all your other contestants. And if you don't like either events, you can always just wait until the next event becomes unlocked. But eventually you do want to try to do this because it does have some really nice rewards, so you do want to knock this out before it goes away. Next we have Mentorship. You want to try to make sure that you get 100 points for your mentees, so that way you can graduate your mentees once they reach over 600 points, so you can get the top rewards. And you want to try to take at least one mentee on all of the missions, so that way you can get the 1,000 coins for the week. And the items that I recommend that you get in the store are the Titan Compiling Module, the Data Repeaters, and if you have enough coins, the Golden Gear. Bringing us to the new area, Joltville, and let's talk about the new systems. Starting with statue priority, and this picture is courtesy of Michachuk. Now by now you probably already leveled up some statues, but this is the order that I ended up focusing on when it came to the statues. I wanted to make sure that I got my basket to 4, that way I could unlock all the Astral Monuments so I could collect all of the points on the map. I got my heart to 3, so that way I could quickly teleport around the map. Then I got basket to 6, so that way I saw all of the exploration points. I got the room to 4, so I could unlock the Astral Chest. And then finally I got tail to 6, so that way I can get all of the best deals at the marketplace. So now let's go ahead and talk about a few tips. You're going to come across these chests to where you can get electrocuted. One way to avoid this is by using Hyper Body, to where you can use Zeke's skill and you will not get electrocuted because you have Hyper Body while the skill is active. Another character that can do this is Yulon, to where if you dodge, you're going to have Hyper Body for a short time and you can open up the chest as well. And then we have the marketplace, to where you may want to try to use your 10 refreshes so that way you can make items that you can sell for Dominion. But I went ahead and made a short video talking about how the system works, so be sure to check that out if you want to find out more on how you can get Dominion. And after that, I recommend going back to the casual tab and checking the trap section and making sure that you capture enough beasts to get your 1,000 points for the day. And you can find out more about how that works in this video. And the other thing that we need to talk about are the chat bubbles that you see across people's heads. Now you have 13 random spawns a week, and you want to try to go around and collect those because you can get free items which you can turn in for Dominion. And a fellow content creator, Michachuk, already showed all the locations of where these could spawn. So if you have a little bit of time, you might want to go around and check that every week so that way you can get some free resources, especially if you're getting pretty low on Dominion. But I'll leave a link in the description. And lastly, if you have not had time to go ahead and clear out all of the map, I recommend that you keep working on that, because with a new week, the energy does respawn just like in Domain 9. So you want to go around and collect that energy so that way eventually you can have all of your towers maxed in this area. Bringing us to the weekly tab, you want to make sure you do enough things down here so that way you can get everything up top, and you want to definitely make sure that you do the quests that give you keys. Again, you could try to save your keys for patch 3.3, and with the golden keys you can consider using those to get the dragon pet, or you can save it for future pets later. Bringing us to our challenges, so if you're trying to do something like the Bygone Phantasm or Frontier Clash, you may want to save your Mia's Kitchen so that way you can power yourself up. But starting with Bygone Phantasm. So the first thing that you want to do is take a look at this weapon bonus. If you have a good weapon bonus, then you want to go ahead and try to attempt the level. And if your CS is high enough, then you may be able to do this sneak to next level and jump up 11 levels as long as you can beat that floor. But the biggest thing that will determine your rank is Sequential Phantasm, which has changed to where you have 6 levels in each area: Frost, Flame, Void, and Physical. And once you get to level 3 in each of those, you're able to unlock Altered, where Altered only goes up to level 3. But one thing to note is that they are going to be resetting Sequential Phantasm on September 26th because there was a bug. So you want to try to get your best score possible by September 26th so that way you can get all of the rewards. Next we have Wormhole. Now you have a little over 4 days to complete this, and you want to make sure that you do so that way you can get those microreactor shards. Frontier Clash. Now you want to go ahead and knock this out so that way you can get that golden gear. Frontier Evolution. Now you want to try to get a team of fairly geared friends, and you want to try to have at least 2 elements so that way you can try to make it to the highest phases possible, allowing you to get some pretty nice rewards. Origin of War. Now this has reset to where we can get a bunch of new rewards once again. So like last time, you want to try to make sure that you knock out all the levels at least before it reaches the difficulty of 600%, so that way you can collect all of the rewards. Void Rift. If this is the first time boss for you, you want to go ahead and knock it out. Void Abyss. You want to go ahead and get your team together and try try to knock this out. This time I decided to go as a tank, and this is the tech that I used. I will say that if you have some fairly strong friends, that should not be very difficult. If you're able to knock out last Void Abyss, you should be able to knock this one out fairly easily. Raids. This week for the regular raid, we have the Black Jade Warrior. So you might need to get a pretty coordinated crew to go ahead and knock it out, especially if you want to try to get the challenging rewards. And we have the Gluttonous Feast for our special raid this time, which is a fairly difficult raid, which does take some coordination with a good team, but it is possible to do. But if you find it too difficult, you could always try to get Heroic, that way you can get most of the rewards by doing that. Break from Destiny, you want to make sure that you do this at least one time, so that way you can get those 250 Dark Crystals. Arena, if you're trying to reach Grand Marshal, you might want to put a couple hours in each day, and you may want to also try to get some critical points for when they update the store. And then we got our daily buys, bringing us to the shop. First thing that you want to do is check your monthly pass and make sure that's active, because that is the best deal in the game. Then for my dolphins, you want to try to make sure that your 7-day supply box is active, because this is a really good deal. If you are going to get Titan packs, I recommend that you only buy the Titan weekly supply one, because the other ones are worse deals. And lastly, we have the hot tab, talking about vitality solutions. I recommend that you buy no more than 2, because if you do buy 2, you're giving up 21 rows every time a new limited character comes out. But one thing you do want to try to do is get your advancement modules and your booster modules. But with this patch, we did get some new materials to where we can get this Bygone resetter to where we can chase some weekly bonuses for Bygone. I don't really recommend that you do that because you have to spend 100 Dark Crystals and you may not get the buff, so this can be pretty expensive very fast. But for the people that are trying to really min-max, this may be helpful. And then we have the Equipment Amplifier, which I recommend Dolphins or Light Spenders consider buying these, because this can help you get better Titan gear stats. But I will go into more detail about this in a later video. Bringing us to the Commissary, starting with the Crystal Dust Store. So you want to make sure you buy your Potent Omnium Crystal, your Advancement Module, your Booster Module, your Augmentation Box, and your Augmentation Factor. And you might as well go ahead and buy your Vera Special Gifts. Space-Time Store, you want to buy your Advancement Module, your Booster Module, and your Data Repeater. And if you have enough Crystal Fragments, you can consider buying IP Shards. Crew Store, now the only thing that I recommend that you spend your points on are relics, and the relics that I recommend are either Space-Time Rift or Omnium Shield. Support Store, you want to buy your Space-Time Crystal Fragments, your Space-Time Crystal Dust, your Gold, and your Black Nucleus as long as you have enough support points. And if you have return points, I recommend that you buy your Space-Time Crystal Fragments, and with your extra return points, you can buy Proof of Purchase, Goat Nucleus, and even Radar Detectors. Point Store, now the only thing that you want to spend your points on are spare special gifts, so that way you don't have to do training, black market, or Cetus Island again. But if you need to level up your matrices or weapons, you could always buy matrix data packs or weapon batteries. And with your critical points, I recommend that you save those. But besides that, I just recommend that you explore the new map, because you really want to try to get that energy so that way you can level up these new towers so you can get some really nice rewards. And I want to also just say thank you to all the people that were waiting patiently for me to recover from my little sickness. So expect a lot of videos coming out later this week.